Hey my lovelies, I'm doing a wee video tonight because I wanted to chat with you about something that I've been reading lately. It's an article in the Salem News and it's about mycoplasma and biological warfare. Basically what they're saying, and this goes back to the early 2000s, they're saying that a mycoplasma from the Brucella bacterium was altered to form a new sort of illness, and this is what causes things like AIDS, cancer, CFS, MS, CJD, and other neurosystemic diseases, like fibro and CFS and things like that. Well, reading this, what it says, there are 200 species of mycoplasma. Most are innocuous and do no harm. Only 4 or 5 are pathogenic. Mycoplasma fermentans incognitus strain probably comes from the nucleus of the Brucella bacterium. This disease agent is not a bacterium and not a virus. It's mutated from the Brucella bacterium combined with a visnovirus from which the mycoplasma is extracted. The pathogenic mycoplasma used to be very innocuous, but biological warfare research conducted between 42 and 1942 and the present time has resulted in the creation of a more deadly and infectious form of mycoplasma. Researchers extracted this mycoplasma from the Brucella bacterium and actually reduced the disease to a crystalline form. They weaponized it and tested it on an unsuspecting public in North America. Dr. Maurice Hilleman, chief virologist for the pharmaceutical company Merck, Sharp and Dohme, stated that this disease agent is now carried by everybody in North America and probably most people throughout the world. Despite reporting flaws, there's clearly been an increased incidence of all neurosystemic degenerative diseases since World War II, and especially since the 1970s, with the arrival of the previously unheard of diseases like CFS and AIDS. According to Dr. Shai-Ching Liu, senior researcher at the Armed Forces of Pathology, the Institute of Pathology, one of the Americans' top mycoplasma researchers, this disease agent causes many illnesses, including AIDS, cancer, chronic fatigue syndrome, Crohn's colitis, type 1 diabetes, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's, collagen and vascular diseases such as rheumatoid arthritis and Alzheimer's and fibromyalgia. Sorry, I got distracted there. So anyway, Dr. Charles Engel, who is with the new U.S. National Institutes of Health in Bethesda, Maryland, stated the following at an NIH meeting in February 7, 2000. I am now of the view that the probable cause of chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia is the mycoplasma. Reading even up to this part, I am like, whoa, actually, this could make sense. This could be the reason. Because so many of us, don't understand where it came from, why so many different people around the world have this, and it's still really not widely known an awful lot about it. It would make sense that it's something to do with the US government and biological warfare. So anyway, it says, I have the documents to prove the mycoplasma is the agent in chronic fatigue syndrome, stroke, fibromyalgia, as well as in AIDS, MS, and many other illnesses. Of these, 80% are US or Canadian official government documents, and 20% are articles from peer-reviewed journals such as the Journal of American Medical Association, New England Journal of Medicine, and the Canadian Medical Association Journal. The journal articles and government documents complement each other. So that's a lot of stuff there that would be saying the same thing. Because at first I was like, is this a conspiracy theory? Has somebody sat down and sort of put all this together from bits and pieces and gone, this is what I think. But if there is other people saying it and have been saying it for many years, why is nothing being done about this? Why is it still happening? Why do we still have no idea how to fix this? Because if we now know, or if people know what's going on, even if the US government, if the military over there don't want to do anything about it, there's got to be places in the world that go, okay, well, if this is where it came from, this is what we can do to counteract this. Instead of these people living the way they live, having medication thrown at them and just being left to live that way for the rest of their life, can we not do something about it? Anyway, moving on to how the mycoplasma works. The mycoplasma acts by entering the individual cells of the body, depending on your genetic predisposition. It says you may develop neurological diseases if the pathogen destroys certain cells in your brain, or you may develop things like Crohn's colitis if the pathogen invades your lower bowel. Once the mycoplasma gets into the cell, it can lie there dormant for 10, 20, 30 years or more. But if a trauma occurs, like an accident or a vaccination gone wrong or not taken, the mycoplasma can become triggered. Which goes to what a lot of researchers have actually put down and is in the books with doctors and stuff for fibromyalgia being triggered, because I know that was things that I was told by different doctors, that it's something that happened to me whenever I was younger, whenever I was quite young. I think it was P2, I was in a car accident, and that was whenever it started for me. Again, last year, it was traumatic experiences that caused it to happen, and me get really bad like I am now. So anyway, I know it's the same for quite a lot of you. It may not be the same for all of you, although you may not know. It could be as simple as a vaccination, and because it can be degenerative, you've just weakened over the years. So anyway, moving on, it says because it is only the DNA particle of the bacterium, it doesn't have any organelles to process its own nutrients, so it grows by uptaking preformed sterols from its host cell, and it literally kills the cell. The cell ruptures and what is left gets dumped into the bloodstream. So let's move on and read creation of the mycoplasma, a laboratory-made disease agent. Many doctors don't know about this mycoplasma disease agent because it was developed by the US military in biological warfare experimentation, and it was not made public. Well, there's a shocking surprise. When does the US military ever let people know what's going on? So the pathogen was patented by the US military and Dr. Shai Ching Lo, and the person that's writing this article says that they have a copy of the patent from the US Patent Office. So anyway, it says all countries were experimenting with biological warfare weapons. In 1942, the governments of the US, Canada, and Britain entered into a secret agreement, to create two types of biological weapons. One was to kill, and the other one was to paralyze or disabling. And this was for use in war against Germany and Japan, who were also developing their own weapons. So from its inception, the biowarfare program was characterized by continuing in-depth review and participation by the most eminent scientists, medical consultants, industrial experts, and government officials, and it was classified top secret. Of course it was. So the US Public Health Service also closely followed the progress of biological warfare research and development from the very start of the program, and the CDC and the National Institutes of Health in the US were working with the military in weaponizing this disease, or these diseases. So the diseases have existed for thousands of years, but because they've been weaponized, it's more contagious, more effective, and it's spreading worldwide. So it says here, the Special Virus Cancer Program created by the CIA and NIH to develop a deadly pathogen for which humanity had no immunity, AIDS, was disguised as a war on cancer, but was actually part of MKNAOMI. I don't actually know what that stands for. If anybody can sort of fill me in on that, pop it down below. Anyway, many members of the Senate and House of Representatives do not know what's been going on. For example, the US Senate Committee on Government Reform had searched the archives in Washington and other places for the document titled the Special Virus Cancer Program, Progress Report Number 8, and they couldn't find it. And somehow they found out that the person writing this article had it, so they contacted him. And he's like, imagine a retired school teacher being called by the US State Senate and asked for one of their secret documents. It says the US Senate, through the Government Reform Committee, is trying to stop this type of government research. So, moving on then, there's stuff about crystalline brucella, and then there's a part here about multiple sclerosis. I want to read this out. In 1998, in Rochester, New York, I met a former military man, PFC Donald Bentley, who gave me a document and told me, I was in the US Army and I was trained in bacteriological warfare. We were handling a bomb filled with brucellosis, only it wasn't brucellosis, it was a brucella toxin in crystalline form. We were spraying it on the Chinese and North Koreans. He showed me a certificate listing his training in chemical, biological, and radiological, I can't even speak, warfare. Then he showed me a 16-page document given to him when he was discharged from service. They linked brucellosis with multiple sclerosis and stated in one section, veterans with multiple sclerosis, a kind of creeping paralysis developing to a degree of 10% or more disability within 2 years after separation from active service, may be presumed to be service-connected for disability compensation. Compensation is payable to eligible veterans whose disabilities are due to service. So in other words, what they're saying is, if you become ill with multiple sclerosis, it's because of the brucellosis or brucella mycoplasma, whatever, so they'll give you a pension for it. So possibly telling them to keep it on the down low because they'll be okay, you'll get a pension. In these documents, the government of the United States revealed evidence of the cause of MS, but they didn't make it known to the public or your doctor. Well, this makes me really angry for all those people who have been diagnosed with MS, because, let's face it, your doctor should know about this, because if there's ways to change this, if there's ways to fix this, come on. Let's get the word out. Let's get people knowing what's going on. So, there's something else I was reading as well. Fireworks. Ugh, there's fireworks outside. Okay, let's read this part and then I'll wrap up reading to you. Testing by a mosquito vector in Ontario. The government of Canada had established the Dominion Parasite Laboratory in Belleville, Ontario, where it raised 100 million mosquitoes in a month. Sorry, a month. 100 million a month. These were shipped to Queen's University and certain other facilities to be infected with crystalline disease agent. The mosquitoes were then let loose in certain communities in the middle of the night so that researchers could determine how many people would become ill with CFS or fibromyalgia, which was the first disease to show. One of the communities they tested was the St. Lawrence Seaway Valley, all the way from Kingston to Cornwall in 1984. They let out hundreds of millions of infected mosquitoes. Over 700 people in the next 4 or 5 weeks developed ME or CFS. And I am disgusted because if this is right, if this is actually real, I can't get my head around what I've actually read. I'm going to pop a link down below because I want you guys to go and read this. Tell me what you think in the comments below. There's someone rapping my door. Let me know what you think about this because I don't get it. I don't understand how they can allow this to happen. We need to stop this kind of thing. I don't even know how we begin to stop this. There is another fibro website or page on Facebook that are saying that they need to find a way to stop it. I wouldn't even know where to begin, but what do? We can't let more and more generations and people come through that are suffering with this here and not know about this. And why I'm only reading about it now, considering this has been going from, you know, the early 2000s, I am totally baffled. But seriously, guys, let me know what you think down below. I was also reading another article about our thermostat, our internal thermostat basically being broken, which I would agree with, because I spend my life mostly incredibly warm and sweating, which you see in a lot of my videos. And if I'm cold, I am freezing. I'm not just cold, but I spend more time being absolutely roasting and just the sweat pouring off me to the point that I feel sick. So most of the time for me, I would rather be cold than warm. I'd rather be too cold than too warm. But anyway, I've ranted enough, and I screwed up doing this video. I actually had to do it twice. I was too busy reading the actual article, and I had it open in another tab rather than another window. So I'd screwed up my recording because I'm recording directly to YouTube. Anyway, guys, I'm going to head on because this wasn't supposed to be a video that was done. And don't forget to let me know down below, guys, if you want me to do a vlog every day for next month to try it out and see how it goes. A vlog of fibro and all my other stuff to see how I am day in, day out sort of thing, and see patterns. So don't forget to keep letting me know so that I know how many people are actually interested in watching that. And I'm gonna go. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm going around to visit my in-laws again. As you know, my father-in-law is incredibly sick at the moment, so I'm trying to see him as much as possible. I wasn't around from, I think it was last Friday until last night, so I want to get around tonight because then I'm not going to be around until Sunday. So anyway, blabbered on. I will see you all soon. I hope you're all having a pain-free day, and I hope you get a restful sleep tonight, and I will see you all soon. Love yous. Mwah. Bye.